been practicing, but we haven't seen them use it yet.
Actually, you bring it up. Niwa's been playing Lucy. That's been kind of awkward. Imagine Niwa getting good at Blossom.
That would set the meta.
Yeah.
That would define it. Like, that would make Blossom a played character by a lot of teams.
I would be interested to see Niwa give Blossom an honest go, because he has been playing Lucy for a long time. In the current meta, Lucy's a bit static and really has trouble versus, say, the aggression of a legendary. So I would be
You think Blossom is better off?
I think Blossom has more tools to deal with aggression between the gust, between the tree, and the hop. Like, there's a lot of tools.
I can see that. I'm comparing it to Panic Flask and Petrify Bolt.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's really it. The role as well, if you're counting EX abilities.
Oh, that's a fair point. Yeah, Lucy has no non-metered escape moves. Blossom has Hop, which makes her invisible.
Yeah, and we saw the
only other character that has that is Jade, and that's a... Sorry.
We saw yesterday a great use of Blossom to just kind of push people back, so we're going to have to keep an eye on KCONA, because that is indeed what they're running as we get into this match already. Judichi's playing aggressive over on the Barco. You can see the team comps at the top of the screen, and, well, they're an evolving meta. It is much more standard than we've come to expect, but by no means is this normal NA fare.
Not especially. A lot of it is just that there is a Shifu and everyone's playing around Shifu. That happens in pretty much every scene. But this case, we are seeing the Shifu Blossom meta
that's nice.
mainly being used as an enabler
Good combo
for
on KCONA. They're going to be very low. They go down early. Now watch this Shifu. Judichi's has his number. It will be a Tempest Rush for him to stay alive, but such low HP. This can't last long for Adhoc.
I gotta be honest, Feyman and Xpino were playing against this yesterday, and I'm sure they've learned quite a bit from that experience. And it's clear they've been thinking about it, because they have answers.
Early on there, Feyman went in, landed an early Flame Strike for a stun on the Blossom. Immediately, as soon as that stun comes out, Judichi's is right there. He's got an ultimate ready, and they've got a kill. It is very clear they went, we need to deal with this Blossom, and we need to do it fast.
Because Blossom Shifu is a thing now. And this wasn't even the team we saw play them last week. That was, if I recall correctly, Lula Preza and Manya. Yes, it was Aklo and Top Gear. They were the ones doing it. We haven't even gotten to them yet.
Are they entered into this tournament? I
yes.
believe they are. Yeah.
They're seeded one bracket up.
And
or one round up, rather.
I believe they got to the finals last week. I guess they must not have won it if they are here, but...
Well, that's the Choose team.
Yeah, I don't know. The point is, they're good. So,
they're really good.
Exciting to see. Especially if they run Blossom in threes, which would be exciting yet again for me. Tree of Life dropped down early on. Speaking of Blossom's, KCONA using it defensively. This means there's no Sanctuary to save Adhoc as he takes a bit of damage going aggro. Now the focus comes in. It's the Blossom taking focus, but KCONA is more than safe. And a triple in-cap as well. The ultimate though does land. KCONA no longer safe. 2 ultimates onto him. He's gone.
It almost feels like there isn't enough burst damage to make up for when there's the damage on the Blossom. Like, they aren't trading.
You know what's interesting to me? There is no attempt to defend that Blossom now. I don't even think that was especially good play there by Judichi's and Feyman. I think it was mostly KCONA just getting really overextended with no support.
That might be the aggressive Blossom style you were talking about earlier. That seems to be a tempting thing to get to. Blossom does have tools that make her feel really strong in combat until you use those tools, and then she's stuck. Although, that being said, KCONA did go for the Hop recast, so they have a lot of ways of tagging in, hopping out. They can deal 25 damage and be safe.
I mean, the real problem to me in that round was just how far forward the Blossom go, right? You have all the tools, sure, but if you're that far forward, just miles away from your nearest teammate, no matter what character you're on, you're going to have a rough time.
Well, it looks like they've realized this, and KCONA is trying to stay a little bit further behind. Not by much, but enough, and that's giving all the space needed for Adhoc to do their job.
Feyman goes down early. Now you need to see some good play here from Pino. If they want to turn this around, he needs to defeat this Tempest Rush and come through in the healing. The ultimate's wasted from Judichi. He goes wide. This begins to become a problem. In-cap coming through as well. Judichi's is wailing away. There should be a Dragon Slayer then. That might be a problem. He dodges it nicely, but the follow-up Seeker's Arrow is a stun. That might be all for this Barco.
hard to say. Dodichis is managing to stay alive fairly long, but not long enough.
He was
So
doing
XP on their own.
He was doing a great job that round. You may have noticed that he picked up round 1, the shield bash battle, right? Which gives him a recast on his shield for a little bit of a rush. And crucially, that applies weaken. And every time he had a Shifu wailing on him, he just had that weaken out.
And it's a fair point to point out that Weaken is only available for Constitivo Plus. Kaikona didn't go for the Weaken right round 1. Like I said, they went for Pop Recast, so the opposing team doesn't have any easy way of slowing down their opponent's damage potential. All they can do is kill them before dying.
I mean, with a Jumong Blossom Shifu roster, you have Mad Burst if you can combine it.
That's the thing, though, is that it has to be really comboed well, because Shifu has a decent amount of burst, Jumong has loads of burst, Blossom has periodic burst.
Yeah, and it's only if they can kind of get the communication going to sync all that up that they really unlock the full potential of this roster. Having said that, if they do, it would be lethal. That orb was picked up early. There's the ulti, and Hawk eats a nice heroic charge. He's not doing too well as the Infernal Scorch follows. No HP remains on him, and the counter only takes him deeper into enemy territory. Kaikona is nowhere near him. And Hawk will be able to heal up, but he needs to grab all the greens and this mid-orb if he wants to be back at a fighting potential, and he'll have to fight for this mid-orb. Indeed, he gets it. Nice combo off the Harpoon, and the Dragon Slayer will discourage any further punish.
That being said, that's meter that was used to force an escape, though. But Fanman seems fairly safe regardless, and this could still be the end. I like them fighting back, but this is an uphill battle regardless.
And Hawk in again, having a rough time here. He needs this orb again because they're still just so behind on HP. I don't get it. So now as the ultimate comes through, Kaikona is down to 1 bar, and Hawk not much better. Kaikona getting perilously low here with no self-healing. He'll go down. And the teammate follows. That's just the danger. You let that HP differential get away from you. You can't play aggressive because one of your players are so low, and well, then you can't get the orbs, and it just snowballs.
Not just that. Look at the damage numbers from Dodichis. Look at how much of it is not his own
dear
attacks.
Lord.
That was like 30% everyone else's attacks being reflected.
Yeah, that's really impressive actually, because that means his bulwark's just perfect.
Yeah, and they've been coming out actually nowhere faster. A lot of people will go for a right in round 4 that gives you faster bulwark recharge. That wasn't happening here. They just went for increased energy. That's just their straight bulwark with no cooldown reduction. And they're managing to get all those reflections.
I'm impressed, because, I mean, that's just good timing. That's having the opponent's number. That's all that comes down to, and well, he's trying it again. He's having a bit of trouble this time, but Anhawk still goes in. Nice in-cap flame strike. Won't catch him. So Anhawk wins that early engagement versus Dodichis, but Dodichis instantly gets Orb and Revenge. Now he comes it through. It's a low HP Jumong, and a Bulwark to protect against to punish.
Looks like Bulwark has been read, though. Seems, I know how to bug the map, has an idea of what to do
Oh,
with
Anhawk!
That might not be enough.
That's a huge mistake from Anhawk. He goes way too aggressive. Goes in with the Tempest Rush, leaving him extraordinarily vulnerable, and well, that's what happens. You don't mess with Abaco's territory. He's angry. There's the ulti. This may be the only hope to turn things around. Kaikona, with his Dance of the Druids, can't get much, though. And his teammates just one hit from dead. He's got Prowl to stave off the inevitable. The Tree of Life will be entirely too late, and it should be the round. Now, map and match point for Constitivo Plus.
I would really like to see Kaikona use more Force Sanctuaries. Although I kind of see why, and there's one. It's fair to note that Older has Quicksand and Feyman has Flame Strike, so there are ways of double damaging that. But it still seems like one of those things where in clutch situations, it will do the trick.
And I'm just a little bit confused by Anhawk's decision-making there. He went hyper-aggressive with Tempest Rush. He didn't counter in, he didn't javelin in, he went in with Tempest Rush. And that left him then with no invulnerability behind a Abaco that had been alive for more than long enough to get ulti. And even if he hadn't, Anhawk would have been in for a rough time.
Speaking of which, Anhawk, again, out of cools, out of outs. They have to just walk.
He gets mid-orb, that's not bad, but you just need to fall back now. because once again, they're down a player in terms of HP, so either need to make up for Anhawk or they need to protect him, and they can't get center control while they're getting both of that. Anhawk now very low, Kai'Sa into a stun flame strike, very nice. You do see a Dragon Slayer. In the meantime, it's reflected into Raiju. Anhawk's gone because Raiju's just blown away on the other side of the map. Yet again, perfect bulwarks coming through, and just it seems a lack of cooldown awareness in terms of the Bako coming through from the entire Bunk team.
Yeah, it's 8 seconds. Just count 8 seconds every time I see that, because that's what Dudicius is taking advantage of.
You have to be aware of that sort of thing. You have to know when those ultis are up, when those cooldowns are up. Because if you don't, well, that's what happens. 5-1, Conservito Blast look good. And they're blasting through to the second round of the tournament.
Next round, we'll see what we get. It's either going to be Armageddon versus Constitivo Plus or Liliperoso Amania versus Guerrillas Alados, assuming that hasn't already been run.
And actually, looking at the bracket, either of those would be pretty exciting. So, we're going to go ahead, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with the first or the second semi-final of the night. Don't go anywhere, it'll be moments. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are right into it, the first semi-final of the night, and it should be a great one. Shadow, we've seen both these teams last week. We saw both, well, most of these players yesterday in the twos tournament. Actually,
well, Aklo and Topiker took it.
Yeah.
Aklo and Topiker won yesterday.
And remember, Aklo Topiker did it using a Blossom Shifu combo. I'm really kind of hoping we get a Blossom Shifu combo here just to continue seeing how it plays in threes, but I don't know we'll get it.
I'd be very curious to see it. I'm still not confident of Blossom's power in threes compared to twos. Twos, yeah, she's good. She's got a lot going for her. Threes, she has the healing. She doesn't have as much damage. And it doesn't feel like people are confident in her ability to manage two players, healing two players, dealing with three other players. So I don't know how much we're going to see her in threes comparatively.
And here we go. Team comps are confirmed. Alder, Shifu, Bako. So, pretty standard double melee. It should be noted over there on Lower Price Armana. Opposing them is a even more standard composition. Sirius Iva, Rygon, at least in terms of the roles. When you get into the characters, though, that becomes a bit more interesting.
Raygun has been coming in and out of popularity recently. I feel like they're being slept on. And I imagine Lux will show.
I'm a Raygun
I still
hater.
think- I mean, there's a lot of control on that team.
I'm a strong Raygun hater. I don't
Yeah, but that's because you
feel
don't
like
like anything reminding you of anime.
Fair point. But I don't feel like he has enough damage.
I see his strength being control, and all three of them together can easily turn any engagement into a 3v1. That's what I'm expecting to see from that team.
Between the Petrifies, the Taser Stun, the Cleanse on Zap, the Parry Recast, and it's an absurd amount of control.
And the Tectonic Strike for Incapacitate.
Fair point. My one issue is, where does the damage come from? Yes, they have little bits of burst with the fully charged Crescent Strike and the Rocket oil combo from Mega Truck, but I just don't know how they're going to find long-term damage versus a roster like the one they're opposing.
That's true. Baku has shields, Shifu has Tempest Rush, and Older, of course, is a support, although Older does have a fairly low level of healing.
Weirdly enough, I think this is the one roster against which double melee Older will not struggle. So, there you go. There's the deep dive. Oh, nice play by Roxy. Actually just recasted a javelin off of parry to move around, and it worked well for him. The rest of the round isn't going nearly as well. Watch this overextension there by the Sirius. Half HP on Simas. Raygun goes in as well. That's Lux, and they will get the Petrified. So maybe they can play off of that. Time travel's coming through. Whirling Blades is already in existence. The Whirling Blades will confirm one. The stuns come through as well. And it's just what I'm talking about. They're winning the control game. But I do not know how Guerrilla Stardos find the damage and really any effect on the round.
Well, it's a tricky thing because this is a largely attrition-based matchup. Like, that's exactly what Guerrilla Stardos needs. They need to survive for long enough that they can heal up, they can sustain themselves, they can get their shields to work better than their opponents. Raygun especially has got loads of self-sustain, and especially with Lux going for the overflowing power right, which gives them the slicing winds charge when they Heavenly Strike. They have free healing. They have free 10 healing every single time they want it, anytime they jump in.
And, I mean, that's always been a Raygun strength. Self-sustain has always been one of Raygun's strengths. And they are one of the characters who can go into a fight and stay in it for an absurd amount of time. Most of the characters, based on their cooldowns, need to go in, take the fight, run off their cooldowns, then back off. Raygun has always had the ability to stay just a little bit longer. The one problem, yet again, I have is I do not know where you go from there to finding the damage to get kills.
Like I said, I'm seeing the way to go is 3v1s into burst combos. One thing to bear in mind, Aklo only had 200 protection, compared to Simas's 463. So there's not as much healing coming out from Liliprezo and Manya, and that means they aren't going to be able to survive an attrition game played really well.
I mean, once again, you're right. Aklo over there on the Elder does not have nearly as much healing. I just don't know how you get to that attrition game phase. So I will be curious to see. There again, there's the dive. Raygun from Lux finding more damage now. He's Tectonic Shock at close range 2 to deal with this 2v1. And he's got Friendship now. Top Hinger will come in. Simas tries to counter this, but look at the low HP on Lux. He's already lost this fight. His parry's up, but it's too little, too late. He's going to be separated from the fight and incredibly low on HP as both his teammates are in camp for the time being. Tempest Rush will come through as well. He does manage to secure the orb. So he'll be fine for now, but this is just... When you talk about the attrition game, we're not getting that.
We are getting quite a bit of control, but even then, you're right. It's just not providing enough damage. And a lot of it is the incaps coming out from Raygun. Lux is doing a lot of work for that, just like right now. Megatruck Perudo, I haven't seen a huge amount of tasers. Nothing coming out for sure, and we aren't seeing anything from Shimas for Petrifies that have actually landed.
Megatruck, watch him now. He's having trouble. Whirling Blades comes through to try and deal with Simas as well, and it very well might. No HP on Simas, and he's gone Aklo with clever use there. Other Chronoflux just completely blocking in the target, and they may very well have a second. Sands of Time's going to tick through and confirm a second kill. Aklo incredible on the round. Just great little utility play.
No kidding. We had just out there quite a lot of Sands of Time just providing the pressure they need For the most part, though, they were solidly healing. They were actually putting lie to my point earlier regarding the amount of healing they have. They only were outdone by Shimas by 8 points.
Hey, take the victories where you can. But I'm not sure that's a victory because they didn't look close in that round.
That is a fair point. One thing I'm a little surprised by is that Megatruck Perudo is taking the old-style oil build. They're not going for tasers as much.
And also worth noting on the battle right side, we don't have a parry recast on Lux.
No, we never did. And I'm not sure that the way they went is actually paying off. They're using the self-heal occasionally, but when they jump in, they're taking almost 100 damage for healing 10.
Double in camp there from the Barco. You talk about control. There's been some nice one from Cactok all game long. Top's going in. He's causing issues. Time travel will come through. So there's Top again, deep into the back lines, and he's got a 3-stack with Whirling Blades. 3-stack comes through. Whirling Blades follows, and one player is off the board. Watch out for Top Higger as well. Here, as he might have a second. Going to be very low HP on Megatruck. Whirling Blades will come through. Megatruck will manage to cancel it, but not in time because he's still against the wall. He's still got no HP. And they still didn't get that center or Barclow doing a great job holding on to that. He might actually get kenked up here. No, Warshout will save him, but only barely.
That does give a bit of an opportunity to Shimas to make it a 2v1, but that's not going to make a difference.
No, Whirling Blades cuts through the counter. We have a 3-0 in favor of Luo Price Armada.
We are a great team.
At this point, what I'd really like to see would require restarting the match because it's a large part battle right picks. The fact is, there isn't a whole lot of control focus. Like, Shimas didn't go for double Lunar Strike, Lux didn't go for parry recast, Megatruck Perudo didn't go for taser bounce. And that, to me, is the strength the team has.
You just think they're building wrong.
I would like to see what happens if they were to build much more control. Just focus on getting as much control as they can and see what happens.
I mean, they are being out-controlled by beautiful plays from Kegstop here. That's worth noting. He's landing the in-caps from the Heroic Stomp, and well, everything's basically working out for him as he just is the presence that Abarco can be when he's played well. There's the Bulwark, speaking of. Huge damage from him up top onto Simas. Center Orb also, yet again, secured by Top Higger, who we've seen is masterful at securing those. Well, he's maintaining that record here. Lux again might be the first to fall. Look at his low HP. Whirling Blades will come through. Megatruck taking massive damage from it as well. The ulti will nail nobody. Nice dodge from Lux. But Megatruck and Lux are still so very low, even as the Tectonic Shock comes through. It's not going to be a long enough in cap to really save anything. The kills should follow in moments.
There's... Wait. No,
That
that's
was a
actually
nice
in
gang
favor.
up. Yeah.
Kektop's down.
3-man focus. And now they get that control focus you were finally looking for, but it's not enough. Whirling Blades will not find anything in time. Nice play to keep Top Higger at range, actually. There's the control plays you were looking for the whole time.
And I'm quite happy to see them, but it's going to be such an uphill struggle. The HP advantage is so different, and the fact is, any one player can go down to a simple combo. They're all at less than 50 HP.
That's nice, though. Great use of the Astral Beam, because it heals up the player under focus from top and does damage to top. Great combo. Now they focus it through. No HP remains there on Arklow. 1927, 9 to be precise. And he will barely go down in time. In the meantime, though, Whirling Blades from Top Higger does secure 1 kill. He needs this orb if he wants to survive, and he's got it. And he's got the fleet foot as well, and the in-cap. He might very well turn this round. He's on such low HP, but his counter's red. Well, that's all that's needed. 1-3 now in favor of Guerrilla Sedanos.
And they put themselves on the board. One thing I've got to point out is Lux actually got that kill onto Aklo because of the right they took in round 1. It's surprising, but it actually worked out. The range from that slicing wins. That's all they needed.
Yeah, because the Petrified was about to take through, wasn't it?
It did, immediately after.
And like you say, just without that extra range, well, he wouldn't have gotten it. And that round might have gone a completely different way.
I still stand by my points regarding how Sirius and Iva rights are generally picked. In large part because Iva's right picks are very old meta, at least from the North American perspective.
Let's get off the battle right talk for a moment, because look at this 3-man focus. This is working beautifully. No HP remains on Cactop. He does get some back from the orb, and he's got a stone glass to come through, but this is the control, the focus you were looking for. And well, there's no HP on Kegtop. He's just staying alive so well, and they've single-handedly focused him. In the meantime, Simas is taking beating up top. Kegtop will finally fall. In light of a trade, though. Maybe top. He's found some huge damage on the Lux. He's got Whirling Blades as well. There goes Simas. Will eat all of that. Zap will save him, but only barely, and maybe not for long enough. No, he's fine. With the Astral Beam, he'll melt his opposition and get the life still needed to stay alive.
They did lose the counter, though. That's a big deal. If they had gotten that counter popped, it would have been over. But at this point, it's still going to be a bit tricky.
Nope. Top nailed to the ground. Slam dunked. Arklo's the last alive. But we might have a comeback on our hands.
It's going to be very tricky. Arklo could theoretically do it. The health involved could allow them to get Megatrick Perudo in one combo. But that's a tough combo to hit, and they're under massive pressure.
Nice time travel. Well done. Solid effort. More pointless time travel than Doctor Who over there on Arklo, but he can't find anything, so he should fall.
Taken down by a Celestial Split.
It does significant damage. I've been
It
playing
does.
some serious lately. It's like, people don't realize, because Celestial Split is almost always followed by fully charged Crescent Strike. And it's
Yeah, but
got
that's still...
decent damage of itself.
Yeah, it's still 10 damage.
So,
It's not nothing.
now as we get into it, it's really about those three-man focus plays, because I stand by it, they don't have enough damage over there on Gorilla status, but they're able to make up for it if they're able to catch out people in three-man focuses.
That's what we've seen so far, and the biggest victim of that has been Kegtop. But Kegtop is playing much more passively now and forcing Lux to get into a bad position in order to try to deal the damage they managed to win the matches with.
Oh, double in cap from Warstomp. Now Whirling Blades comes through, mostly useless, but still finds some pretty ugly damage. Tectonic Shock will come through and in cap the Whirler himself, but I'm not sure they have enough just across the board in terms of HP at this point. Lux's fully charged DX meter might make up for some of it, but he needs this orb. They don't get it, and that becomes heartbreaking now. Parry, of course, won't feed into it. The Tiger Slash does try and avenge his teammate, but they're already down to Sirius. That's their healer, and time travel's come through. Kegtop dropped in to confirm a kill. The second Tiger Slash gets even less. The third, what do you think, Shadow? Oh,
Not anything at all. That's just getting progressively worse. And we're
heartbreaking.
seeing clearly, I mean, it's why Raygun doesn't ever use their ultimate. Like, you generally see them charge up slicing wins. That's the play. That's how you use meter.
It shall happen
I
again.
mean, we've seen a few clutch Tiger Slashes.
In 1v1s, yes, it has value there. At the very least, it forces someone into a bad situation. A 1v1 in sudden death of the Raygun is a scarier thing than 1v1 with Pearl or with Lucy, just for the size of Tiger Slash.
I mean, I like myself some Raygon, if for no other reason than that ultimate is the most anime ultimate in existence.
You just said you hated Raygun at the beginning of the match. You changed your mind that quickly?
You know what? Look, you're some fake news, okay? There's Tom taking a beating. Oh, nice double in cap to make up for it. If he gets this orb, it's all good, but it's instantly stolen. Simas and Lux, they wake up. Much like Sleeping Beauty, they instantly have an agenda. No HP remains here on top as he eats a Tempest Rush. It's over now, which means he has no escapes. His counter's been spent. This gets ugly, and he's gone. Kegtop now might be next. He's got an ultimate. The Heroic Charge gets nothing. Nice read by Megatron. He should be able to get the kill off of that.
I think they wake up as an apt description for what's happened this round. Just to describe this entire team.
You want to know the utility of Tiger Slash. There was a great example just used to secure the orb there. Lux will be able to find the last kill as well, so Arklo will follow. As now, we have a game on our hands, only a one-round deficit. Still at match point, though, for Lua Price Armada.
This is one step of a
Actually,
long journey.
that was really fast. Looking at the numbers already, although Lux did deal almost 600 damage, the protection numbers really show a fast game. 300 from either healer. Although another 200 coming in from Lux, just self-healing. That's a lot of value.
I'd like a moment of silence for our producer, Drop Barrett, who just yawned into the microphone. He's a bit tired. Can we get some Bible thumps for Drop Bar and Twitch chat? That's all I ask. Just like one.
Just to try to wake them up.
Nothing like a crying baby to wake you up.
Yeah, but the problem is that you can't sleep, and then you have to stay up for the rest of the night. So I've heard.
Actually, fair point. No Bible thumps. Call it off. Well,
Wait, you're saying Bible thump because
Oh, that's a nice emote drop there, actually, on the Battle
I didn't
Royale
we have
account.
that emote.
We don't. I don't know whose that is.
Oh, I see.
Is that a global emote? I think it is.
Yes.
Oh,
Sorry, we're
that's pretty cool. Wow. I learn about emotes all the time. Like, there are way more on Twitch than I thought there were.
I'm not surprised. Pretty much every channel has something, some special emote.
No.
Anyhow,
Well, we are into it.
emotes
Yeah.
aside, let's get back to the match itself with another fairly strong start coming out immediately from Guerrillas Alados.
Ooh, Kangtop, he might need a Bible thump or some kind of emote to express his displeasure in a moment, because I thought just came through again. He's got to be a bit sick of it by now. But it's not working because Toppy instantly tries to intervene and just eats the damage. There's a Tectonic Shock to take it away. Mega Shock unlocks they get Orb. Simas did receive focus, but he's got the tank team, so he'll be fine. And you also have a Tiger Slash available here. It'll be used to dodge the damage. Whirling Blades will find significant damage onto Simas, but Tophanger was eating damage the whole time. The question is now, can this Cactop stay alive?
It's not so much Kectop I'm worried about, but rather Lux. Look at Lux's HP. They are both so close to
Cactop
death.
goes down first. Top could be the next kill. He's got a triple in cap. Tempest Rush as well. He could be the next kill, or he could be the next killer, and I think he knows which one he'd like, but that might not happen. The full ultimate comes through, and Beam should result in the death of one player at least. Arklow will follow as well. There you go. We're tied up 4-4 match point.
Guerrillas Alados, they've just figured out what to do. Like, they're not even going for the control game and attrition game I was talking about. They've decided, you know what? That seems to be what our opponents are doing, so we'll just take the exact opposite approach and show TJ what we can do burst-wise.
Three-man focus and the aggression. That's what they were missing, apparently.
It works. It's risky as hell, but, I mean, they have the self-sustain to pay off.
Yeah, I maintain they don't have enough damage, but if they manage a three-man focus, they almost do as much damage as you know, any other three-man comp. So it's lethal on that point. They are losing this round though. This is getting ugly. Arklow with an early time travel. He couples through Megatruck very low. He's gone already. Whirling Blades confirms that kill, and now this starts to get ugly. To come this far and lose the match still as Heroic Charge comes through. That's exactly what's happening. Lux, he needs something desperately. He's got one, but that will be all unless he pulls a miracle out of his anime hat. And well, I think we're fresh out of anime hats as this Rygon is cornered and this Rygon is gone.
A valiant effort and a very near win from Guerrillas Alados. I'm glad they didn't give up, as they were just about out of the match to begin with. I mean, it took them a few rounds to even get on the board.
Yeah, no, I'm glad they showed up, and they definitely did. It was very nice to see them. I still don't like their team comp,
I think
but
double
I
Incap would still
appreciate
be.
that they're experimenting.
I still think double Lunar Strike and Taser Bounce would be the way to go.
Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of a utility stack on a team, so there you go. My
That's fair.
biases are inherent. We're going to go ahead and continue theory crafting off stream for a moment now, because we do have our second semi-final of the night to get into in just a few moments. That will, of course, be Armageddon versus Constativo. Plus, don't go far. We'll be right back with that and the rest of tonight's Ultimate Arena tournament in just a few moments. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's the second semi-final of the night, and it should be an exciting one. This will, of course, be, as mentioned previously, Armageddon versus Constantino Plus, and it should be a pretty cool one at that. We do have the team comps locked in. It'll be a pretty exciting one on both sides, but I'm far more interested, as I'm sure you are as well, Shadow, in this Jade.
Yeah, Jade, Paloma, Raigon. Talk about everything that people think is almost but not quite in meta.
I mean, I don't like any of these characters. I mean,
Well-
not just in terms of my personal preference, but when I say I don't like, I mean, I don't like them to win. In terms of, I don't think they're going to. I know there's phrasing
Yeah.
issues there, but that's what I'm trying to say eventually.
That's what I mean. They're seen as not quite in meta. Paloma used to be strong in meta. Raigon used to be strong in meta. Jade a long time ago used to be strong in meta. And none of them are quite favored nowadays. But maybe Armageddon's got something up their sleeves. Maybe they found something other people haven't.
Sick gunslinger skin. That's about all I'm seeing so far.
Hey, it's Jade's best skin.
Panic comes through, and the other side, well, now there's Raigon to back up. They have center control off the back of some early Raigon aggression, so maybe that's their secret. They might not get orbed nonetheless. They do get it. Nicely done. The parry recast from Dark Dragon. Won't find much in his Earth Tremor. Doesn't either. Oh, he does have an early ult, as does the rest of his team, basically. So, you get something off that.
Looks like mostly it's just we have the standard melee up front to distract from all the damage from the ranged attackers. And that's almost working.
Dark just
Almost.
burned his ulti and wasted it, and now time travel comes through too. On top of the Infernal Scorch, there's no HP. He just melted. Now, I don't know what you do, because that's two ultimates down the pipe, and a third completely inaccessible. Raigon's gone, it's all on Yuzuki. And I think he just burned another ultimate. We
That's
saw
right.
an early ult on all three players there for Armageddon, and not a single one of them found value with them.
I hope we see that come up later, but this almost seems like a question of whether even we should consider the composition based on the player.
I'm just... Dark Dragon burned his Tiger Slash down bottom, didn't find anything.
Yep.
Gasai, got time travel stunned on top of an Infernal Scorch. That killed him. Vin Yuzuki then fully ulted explosive shells into a firewall, got nothing, went down bottom, got another ult, and got petrified before he got any damage off. Like, this
Yeah,
is
they
just
got-
a bad day to be on their team, that's all it is.
They hit 2 shells out of 8 with her ultimates. And, I mean, Jade's got a lot she can do with her EXs as well. So that's meter that could have gone to shields and could have gone to rooting their opponents. Just more safely approaching them.
This orb, Judici should have it, and he does. Down bottom. It's worked out alright for Vin Yuzuki, and he's got a stun as well. That'll stop the ultimate from Feyman. As well the Panic. Nice juggle there. Just to keep that ultimate at range. It finally comes through and finds nothing, because they completely expected at that point. So now it's their turn. All the ultimates up for Armageddon, and they've maintained the damage differential. It's fairly even.
Actually, they're getting some really nice combos in. I mean, look at the combos between Vina and Dragon.
Oh, Feyman, very low. Explosive shells knocks him down. Tiger Slash is available. That should be all. And it is. One player down. The second might join him. That's a nice dive in by Nisparko to save his team NXPino. And he's got the ulti as well, so he's got the revenge. Cross kill comes through off the back of that heroic charge. Panic, though, will separate him from the flock. And that means he loses his healer, XPino. Vidicis is all alone. And a winnable 1v2.
This seems very winnable, just overall. The amount of control that coordination can allow for between Raigon and Jade. That is something I really want to see exposed and explored.
That will be one round for Armageddon, as a shaky bulwark and some bad decision making on the leap costs him that round. But wow, it looked
Remarkably well coordinated.
well coordinated there at some individual moments.
I mean, parry recast in a disabling shot, and then working off that into loads of damage. I'll grant that both Jade and Paloma rely on their opponents making a mistake when the spell block's on to make their stuff fully useful, but that still stops their opponent from acting for half a second.
Now we get into it again. It's 1-1 as a tied scoreline. And Feyman Dudichi's P9, they all need to just find burst. They need to find a chunk of damage to stop these ultis from coming up. That's what I've decided. Nice dodges, snipe.
Feyman's in the best position for that. Dudichis does have Blood Axe when they get charged up. That's actually been coming in pretty handy.
This orb will be taken by Conservito. Very well done there. Other side. Gasayuno will provide some healing, and he's got a Snipe Jade coming through. Nice juggle of Dudichis. Gasayuno is still uncomfortably low, though. And he's going to be separated from that self-heal as well. This gets rough. Tiger Slash, though, will buy him time and damage. Snipe follow-up is good. No HP on Dudichis, but the Paloma's gone. Nice play by Feyman to secure that kill. Now, the revenge is possible. It needs to come quickly, though, because Dudichi's HP isn't going to stay that way for long. Not with Center Control and Time Travel available. There's the ultimate tearing through. Dark Dragon gets nothing on it. Or sorry, doesn't get tanked by it. Feyman's ultimate. The Infernal Scorch got nothing there. What's Dudichi's? He has his own.
Vinny Uzuki, though, their HP has been just steadily dropping. Nothing really bursty, just a small amount of attrition over time, having lost their healer early on.
That's really all that came down to that round. The early burst of damage, you lose your Paloma. Well, that costs you the rest of the round.
That's pretty clearly a bit of an issue, because we saw the round they won, they did a great job pushing their opponents back. And that's the biggest thing about this composition, is you need to make sure your opponents are respecting your main melee, and aren't just ignoring it and going after your healer.
And I do think they were dealing with Dark Dragon appropriately, right? Dark Dragon got good damage on the round, almost 500. I think he did his job.
Oh, I agree. It's just that they didn't manage to save Yuno. And if they don't save Yuno, then they can lose the attrition fight, even from that position, because they were getting Dudichis down. If it was Pino that was that far down, I could have seen it. They would have at least traded healers.
Oh, nice tectonic shock there to open things up. If Dark can go in on Pino here, that's a nice start, and he's indeed looking for it. There he goes, parry as well, will get a recast, but once again, he's not really protecting his healer.
That seems to be something that they're taking care of themselves fairly well, though. Yuno doesn't seem to be threatened very much. Now, they've until now had no problems.
That begins to be the problem, though. You leave an opening for too long and it gets punished. Dudichis will go in hard on these two. Meanwhile, Tiger Strike is an appropriate response. Fairly low HP on both players there, but Dark Dragon's even lower because, of course, his healer hasn't been able to heal, focusing on his own HP, so this begins to get rough. Petrify will couple nicely into a time travel and the war stop. 1 kill guaranteed. Second can't be far behind. Dark Dragon should fall, and he does. It's all down to Uzuki, and he can't find anything because of the bulwark. He should be ready to go as soon as that Chronoflux fades with his own ultimate, but he's not going to get the chance because the DPS is too strong. That will be the round, and quite easily in favour of Conservito.
I'm starting to wonder if that round they won was more of just a fluke and taking advantage of a mistake that was made. An overextension from Dudichis becoming a parry recast, becoming a stun, becoming loads of extra damage that didn't have to happen and clearly has been avoided.
If you have Dark going that aggressive and finding that much damage, and they've got a Paloma backing them up, that's a lethal combo.
Oh, yeah. I mean, bear in mind, Rygon's healing heals Paloma.
But Jade isn't good enough at playing defense. Just as a character, there's not much you can do to play successful defense.
No, you can shield your teammates and that's about it.
So if the Rygon's going aggro, your Paloma's going to take some hits. And that begins to become a problem. Well, you can see that problem really striking true because just the healing's going to be limited now. That's exactly what's happening. Finally, the heals come back online, but might not be for long. Nice double panic on the aggression from Yuno. Uzuki, though, is taking damage. Time travel stun coupled with War Stomp into the backlines. We've seen that story before, so we'll see another sign to escape from Yuno, but he's coupled immediately into a Flame Strike. A nice combo comes through. Infernal Scorch as well. And this might very well be the match point round here for Conservito.
Looks like it will be. That's Uzuki down. Dark Dragon will fall soon after, and I admire their valiance, but it's just not going to be enough.
We've seen that combo several times now. Time travel into Flame Strike into War Stomp, and it is addicting to watch.
It is so well executed. And it doesn't require getting parry recast or stuff that requires your opponents to shoot stuff. You just do it, and they get hit.
And when you can replace that Flame Strike with an Infernal Scorch, it's twice as lethal.
I mean, that's main reason why the whole older Ashka thing has been so powerful. That's a combo that comes up for every older Ashka team. And older Ashka is very popular.
Well, here we go on the damage part of the round again. Dark Dragon, he leads in. Trying to find something, and he does indeed. This is going better for him than previous rounds, but they still don't get this opening orb, and that will create problems.
One thing I'd really like to see is for Dark Dragon not to be quite so aggressive. Like, take what damage they can, take the opportunities they can, but don't try to rush in because this happens, where now Dark Dragon can't help at all because they have no HP.
He finally does get back in here. Decent HP and an ultimate as well. This finds significant damage actually to Ichi's and Feyman. They both eat the entirety of that combo. Now though you've War Stomp and Time Travel. We've seen this story before, and actually so has Yuzuki this time. He's got other side ready. Just dropping that at the right time. Dark Dragon will try and find something. There's an Infernal Scorch at close range. Nice kill, doesn't expect that and dies as a result. The Pure Firebolts will hit as well. Let a Chrono Flux to stop the ultimate from Yuzuki. Save Dunichis and save the Ram. This should be all. Consevito look fantastic. And well, it's going to be rewarded. 5-1 is the final scoreline.
Nice job, Consetivo. I'm curious to see what Armageddon goes on to do from this point, because that must have been painful. It's absolutely heartbreaking.
We do have our final coming up now. That will be Consetivo Plus versus Low Price Armana. If I'm not mistaken, is that a rematch of threes last week? I believe we saw that match.
That seems to... No, threes last week was Tana, Disney, and Lula.
Not the finals, but I think we saw that match in the semi at least.
That's correct. That was the semis that got Lula into the finals.
And if I recall correctly, it was one hell of a semi. So hopefully this time it gets the spotlight it deserves as a grand final. We'll be right back with that grand final matchup in just a few moments. Don't go far. We are already in the lobby. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are into our grand finals for the night. Actually, this isn't technically the grand finals. This is the finals. But we are into it. My name, of course, still TJ, still joined by Shadow Fury. And Shadow, these are two teams we saw last week, and they had a good match.
They did. They were in the semifinals last week, which was a bit of an injustice, but now that's been rectified as they are in the finals, and whoever wins this goes to face Tana Disney in the grand finals tomorrow.
And those grand finals should be pretty exciting. For now, though, we are here. Ormond Temple, nice will be the map chosen. And I'm a little bit curious about this because we have been seeing a bit more Ormond lately. It's gone from the map that everybody hates to the map that everyone's okay with.
I'm okay. I've seen it in Brazil. Yeah,
Well,
definitely
we
there.
saw it in PRL recently as well. It came up twice last week.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's yes, because PRL changed to the best of 3 map format, which is making a lot more maps viable.
What are we
Like ultimately, you're gonna have them
today?
in the pool because there's just so many maps.
Yeah.
And Ormond Temple might have been the 3rd or 4th favorite map, or least unfavorite map, and now it's getting the recognition it deserves.
Well, I'm quite excited because I think it's one of the prettiest maps. It's just a cute little map, you know?
Little certainly describes it.
Oh, my dog's under the table and she thinks I'm talking about her. You're a cute little dog as well. You are. You're such a good girl. We're into it though,
Just
the final. And can we talk about these teams and how they're almost a mirror? It's just Shifu v Ashka.
That's a strange mirror in terms of roles, because oftentimes we do see mirrors by roles, which
I don't think
is
so. Ashka,
You don't
Shifu,
think
they're
so?
both DPS.
They are both DPS, but they operate very differently. Like Shifu's much more get in, stick on you, and try to lock you down. Ashka is
Fair
more
point, yeah.
try to be as far away from you as possible and just peg you, because
Yeah.
Ashka has, I'd say, one of the harder times getting in, rivaled maybe by Varesh.
Ashka
For
wants
getting
to
in
be
and fighting.
the furthest away from you while still
They're
dealing
artillery.
damage he can.
Yeah.
And, well, Top's got different ideas. We talked about that maybe possibly being a mirror, and, well, there's the mirror match being won by Feyman thus far. Nicely played.
And there's the control I'm talking about there. Famine getting incapped and managing to kite a
Stone
fair bit, but it's not enough to maintain the orb control.
Didichi's in mid, takes some damage. There's Feyman with his Infernal Scorch, and he's actually going close against Top, and it's working out for him so far. He builds the distance with a Molten Punch. And up top, Didichi's wins his mirror match, so all's good so far.
One thing I'm noticing is that both Kegtop and Top Gear are taking a lot of damage needing to get in, and pretty much everyone
Whoa.
on their opponent team is taking hardly any to manage to answer that.
Didichi's! That was beautiful. He read the time travel perfectly. He might still go down, though. Sands of Time is going to take him awfully close. Pino, though, he uses the time travel to close the distance to try and save him. It does not work. The Infernal Scorch, though, should get the revenge kill. Feyman, moments away from it, will get it because the Chrono Flux pushes Top in range of Feyman. When have you seen that before?
That's a bit of anti-synergy right there, unfortunately, because that was Aklo's Chronoflux. That was red bordered.
That was heartbreaking. Pino now will come through, trying to find a kill, maybe onto Kegtop. This is actually not as impossible as it could be. Uses the Chrono Flux
Nice.
quite wisely as well to space out of the time travel range, but I'm just not sure he has the damage, and without this orb, he's essentially lost it. So yeah,
No.
I think that's all on the round one of this final, going in favor of Lua Price Armana.
Pino had a strong opportunity with Kegtop very near the end, but they did miss it. That one missed Sands of Time was the difference between winning or losing and having a chance to win.
I'm just still giggling at the Chrono Flux pushing Top into range, just barely into range of that Firestorm.
Thankfully for them, it didn't manage to lose them the game, but that's gotta have been embarrassing.
Well, I think there was a good reason for it, because there was an older Arklow coming up from, or not Arklow, Pino coming up from bottom. So Arklow seeing Pino, it kind of instinctively throughout the Chrono Flux to protect Top from that, which was the right call. But of
Yeah, just the
course,
placement.
it also sacrificed him to Feyman at the same time.
It was a checkmate situation. I mean, the amount of HP Top had, it was almost impossible for them to get out of there.
Yeah. Top goes in, though. He hasn't been beaten back. He's not been cowed. He still has an aggressive mission, and he's found Feyman already. For naturally significant damage, and the double ore storm comes through. It's going to be coupled into a flame strike. Triple in cap from Top. Very well played. And off the back of it, he should have orb, and they do, with the greens as well. It's not bad at all.
I was talking earlier about control-oriented teams, but man,
Oh,
what
Feyman.
Lula is running
Oh.
right now is showing us how that can be done very effectively.
Feyman goes down in the meantime. The Whirling Blades for Top, but that might be cancelled out. It's going to be nicely done there to secure the orb. time travel as well, so Whirling Blades are completely avoided, just like I was talking about earlier. Didichis needs to get back in there. They need to find a cross-killing quickly. Top is the most viable target. He's able to get the counter off in time, though. Now the time travel's coming through. It's going to be rough. There's the combo. And the wombo. 1 kill guaranteed.
Nice shield dash to try to avoid that, but it wasn't quite enough. At this point, I'm really not sure what we have from Constativo, because the amount of control being used against them, Lule was organized that round. Last round, I felt like they were getting split up, but this round, they just collapsed everywhere they needed to. And we saw how much power that provides.
Well, it provides a 2-0 scoreline, apparently.
That's one certain objective thing to point out there. Overall, though, look at the damage numbers. They're almost even. Everyone on Lula, whereas Constativo, Didichis is dealing most of the damage, and Pino and Feynman didn't manage to land anywhere near as much. Bear in mind, Feynman's the one who really should be dealing most of the damage. That's what Ashka does.
He's having a rough time, though, in fairness to him, because Tom's just going aggro, and that kind of forces him to leave, and now that he's left, he's under fire from everyone who's in range, and that puts him uncomfortably low. There's the continued aggression coming through. Feynman just cannot find anywhere that he is safe. Whirling Blades in the meantime cuts down Pino to size, half HP. Stone Glass comes through, but it may be too little too late, because there's Pino very low. Feynman not far behind, and Didichi's kind of left out to dry, desperately trying to hold on. He misreads Kegtop, who goes in deep. They might have a punish on the Kegtop. It's not nearly enough.
I'm a little surprised we're seeing a lot of Sansa Times that get turned into... Sorry, not Sansa Times. Stone Glasses that get turned into damage to the petrified character rather than focusing on the other two. Or focusing on a combo.
Bolt got caught between the two bulwarks there. A pretty light show. Time travel goes in. Arklow finds 1 kill. Nicely done. The ultimate tears through 1. Kegtop could go down. Feynman, though, will need to deal with this Whirling Blades at close range, and I don't think he can as Kegtop comes through to finish off the job. It's all on this Barco Didichis, and he war axes himself. The LT will seal the deal. Heroic charge to finish the round. 3-0 in favour of Lua Presa Armana.
They have been dominating thus far. And it's just the coordination is so wonderful. Constativo, I'm noticing they have some of it sometimes, but like I was saying before, I don't see things like Luna or Petrify from Stone Glass into the Flame Strike stun, into more damage from there, or Didichi's going in cap into Flame Strike stun. There just isn't that level of coordinated, continued oppression by crowd control. But that's exactly what we see out of Lula.
Feynman down bottom. Ooh, look at that. That's an ugly combo. He gets completely
stuffed
wasted.
by the bulwarks.
Yeah.
Nice try. A little bit of ping pong there as a result. It was fun to see, if nothing else.
Oh, and he's caught out now. Nice reactions on the Molten Punch, though. He says, I've seen this tail, and I don't want to see it again. Solves the problem quickly. However, much like Groundhog Day, I think it's happening again. Feynman will be caught out. Sands of Time ticks through as well. That's Quicksand, to be fair. Arklow. Well, he's still finding more damage, and Feynman just cannot catch a break. Kegtop lands on top of him. That will confirm the round. Basically, as the orbs also secured, Top will have all the HP they need. There's the time travel as well into a nice war stomp. I think the round's over.
I would have to agree with you. One thing I'm noticing about Feynman, though, is what I was talking about at the very beginning of the round, which is that Ashka does not want to be in close combat. Of all the ranged characters, with the exception possibly of Aresh, Ashka is the most artillery-focused.
Time travel comes through. Pino caught out again and slain. That'll be the round match tournament point for Lua Presa Armana. Although, to be fair, on your earlier point, Varesh is being played very aggressively these days, so I think that comfortably puts Ashka as the furthest range DPS. Maybe Jumong ties him, actually.
Yeah, Jumong's a bit weird, because Jumong can get in there and get out with Black Arrow and deal damage, whereas there isn't much other than a really well-timed Molten Fist, Molten Chains, which is tricky to pull off without your opponent noticing, or just getting out a dodge with Searing Flight, which doesn't do anything as it escapes.
Ooh, Top in again. And yet again, Feynman, my god, he cannot catch a break. It's heartbreaking to beat
Was it just
him.
me? Was it just me, or was Feynman running point as they were approaching?
No, he wasn't. He was very far behind. He just
Okay, 'cause
got
they got pulled
instantly
forward
pulled out
fast.
and focused, but they might have a response. No HP remains over there. However, Cactop might have overextended to chase. Warshout will barely keep him alive, but he's gone. Well, to be fair, Feynman wasn't the first to fall. There's the edges we were looking for. But it will be all on the round. One player killed, the rest to follow. 5-0 clean sweep, lightning fast. Grand final is over.
Lula takes both tournaments this week.
It shall happen again. Always.
Very well played by them in both of them. And if I've learned anything, it's that despite how funny Cactop's name is, you don't mess with them. And that Top Hager is one of the scariest Shifus I've seen in any region. I don't think he's better than Reaper Yusou, but he could definitely play in the NA scene and be rewarded well.
Yeah, I would love to see that. It's just, granted, there are already 2 strong Shifus, but a 3rd strong Shifu to change up things a little bit, that would be neat.
I'm very excited. We're going to have to wrap things up for tonight, though. So thank you guys very much for watching. We are planning tentatively on covering the finals of the King of the Arena tournament tomorrow. That's going to be at the same time, 4 p.m. PST, 4 p.m. Pacific,
5
that
p.m.
is.
5 p.m. PST.
5 p.m. Pacific. Thank you, Shadow. He knows things. He's our scheduler.
I mean, technically you're right, because it's 5 p.m. PDT, but that's a weird technicality that's irrelevant.
Yeah, you're right. 5 p.m. Pacific time. That's Pacific US time. And that should be a fun one. And then, of course, later on in the week, we will both be covering the $1,000 NA and EU tournaments on Sunday by Pro Rivalry over at twitch.tv/Pro Rivalry. Follow their Twitter account or head over to ProRivalry.com for all the details on that if you are in the NA region and you'd like to play competitively, or if you're in EU. These are both worth a check out. That will be all from us tonight, though, so thank you very much for watching. My name, of course, has been TJ. You can find more of me on the internet at eSportsTJ. Shadow is at ShadowFury333 on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, basically everywhere. And, of course, my wonderful producer tonight has been Dropbear. He's at CorruptDropbear on Twitter. You can find the lot of us right there on Twitch at BattleRight with an RIGHT, or on Twitter at BattleRightWin, where you can be updated on all of our upcoming broadcasts. Thank you very much, and please do consider following the stream. If you did enjoy tonight's broadcast, we are trying to ramp up our South American broadcast so we can hit a consistent schedule, and once we do that, well, it should be great fun. Once again, though, I do hope you have a great rest of your evening or afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and I hope we didn't spoil it too much.